네, 안녕하세요. 오디랩의 정세빈이라고 합니다. 오늘 이렇게 웨비나에 참석해 주셔서 진심으로 감사드리고요. 일단은 웨비나 진행 형식은 발표자인 줄리안 슈얼츠 씨가 발표를 하게 되면 저희 오한나 매니저님께서 통역을 하고요. 모든 슬라이드는 아무래도 좀 시간이 많이 걸리고 좀 많이 여러분께서 지루하시게 느껴질 수 있을 것 같아서 중요한 부분이나 필요하다고 생각되는 부분을 집중적으로 통역을 해드릴 예정이고요. 그다음에 혹시 통역이 안 되었던 부분이나 조금 빨라서 이해가 안 되셨던 부분이 있으시면 나중에 오디랩으로 연락 주시면 저희가 그 성심성의껏 그 회신해 드리겠습니다. 예, 감사합니다. Okay, Julian, let's get started.
Okay, let's start, rock and roll. Hi, my name is Julian Schwarz, and today I would like to talk about using proficiency testing reports to identify problem areas. You can find some information at lgcstandards.com/axio, or you can contact us at axio.pt@lgc.com, but please consider your local PT provider ODLab first. My name is Dr. Julian Schwarz. I'm the Business Development Manager from the German Basel office of LGC, and I have been the PT specialist over the past 15 years. My background is chemistry and microbiology, biochemistry and microbiology. And normally I would be here together with my colleague Dominic Hazen, who is also Business Development Manager and has a background in clinical chemistry. So, introducing LGC Axio Proficiency Testing. So we are more than 40 years now a leading producer of proficiency testing, and our technical expertise and influence is used to drive forward the quality assurance provision. We design our schemes to meet your laboratory needs, and this should help you to consistently deliver quality products that you can meet sector-specific standards or to achieve accreditation to ISO 17025 or ISO 15189. 하나.
네, 통역을 맡은 오한나입니다. LGC Axio Proficiency Testing은 LGC는 40여 년간 시험 전문가들과 향후 품질 보증을 위한 원동력으로 영향력 있는 국제 숙련도의 방향을 이끌고 있습니다. LGC는 모든 프로그램들을 랩에서 향후에 필요한 방향으로 제공하고 디자인하고 있습니다. 또 품질의 서비스와 제품들을 지속적으로 공급하고 또 고객분들의 각 분야의 세부적인 기준과 국제 인증인 ISO 17025, 15189를 인증을 위한 만족할 만한 서비스들을 지속적으로 제공하고 있습니다.
LGC Axio Proficiency Testing follows certain or well-defined statistical designs. So all schemes should have a dedicated statistical protocol. And these protocols described how are your results handled, what is the origin of the assigned value and the standard deviation for proficiency assessment, how should a performance score be calculated, and how these performance scores we talked about should be classified according to satisfactory, questionable, or unsatisfactory. These at least are described in the ISO standard 13528, which has been released last year, the latest revision, statistical methods for use in proficiency testing by interlaboratory comparisons. To start with, we should start with basic PT statistics, and what you can see here is, of course, a beautiful bell-shaped distribution curve, which tells you how much percentage of a data are nearby the standard deviation. And this is simply shown here to make you aware that PT proficiency testing data have to follow or needs a certain quality of the data that are coming back. So the first term I mentioned is assigned value. This is here AV. And this is the value attributed to a particular property of a proficiency test item. So this is the best estimate of the actual concentration or level of the measurand in the PT test item. There are different methods to determine the assigned value, which is, for example, formulation. So then you can use a certified reference material as the test item. You can use results from one laboratory as a reference value. You can use a consensus value from expert laboratories or consensus value from participant results. This, for example, is the most frequently used source from microbial samples. Those are also described here in ISO 13528. Hannah.
네, LGC 액시오의 중요 인자인 assign value에 관한 내용을 설명 주셨습니다. assign value는 숙련도 시험 항목의 특정 속성에 할당된 값으로 정의가 되어 있으며 ISO 17043에 근거하여 제공되는 값입니다. 특히 assign value는 PT 테스트 항목에서 측정 대상의 실제 농도나 실제 수준의 최상 추정치를 의미하며 assign value는 다음과 같은 방법들에 의해서 결정이 됩니다. 첫 번째로 포뮬레이션, 저희가 계산할 수 있는 어떤 화학식의 분자량이라든지 그 함유량을 계산할 수가 있고요. 또는 certified reference material을 통해서 또는 그 물질을 가지고 assign value를 측정하거나 확인할 수 있습니다. 그리고 기본적으로 레퍼런스 데이터를 얻기 위한 지정된 한 곳의 실험실에서 결과를 가지고 근거를 삼을 수도 있고요. 또한 이제 다른 외부의 시험 기관에서 실험한 결과들을 가지고 취합하여 assign value를 확인할 수도 있습니다. 그리고 참여자의 시험 결과값에 대해서 그 결과값으로 최대한의 추정치를 확인할 수 있는 assign value를 산출할 수 있습니다. 대부분 마이크로바이올로지 숙련도 시험에서 이용되기도 합니다. 이 모든 근거들은 ISO 13528에 근거하여서 내부적으로 비교할 수 있는 숙련도 시험을 통계학적인 방법에 의해서 제공되어져야 된다는 것에 근거하고 있습니다. Julian?
Yeah. So there are few main performance scores which can be used. And typically, proficiency testing results are evaluated by converting real numbers into performance scores. So we at LGC Axio mainly use for quantitative values the Z-score and the so-called Z-prime score. But there are, of course, also qualitative benchmarks, which are, for example, presence absence, salmonella presence absence, certain toxin presence absence, are detected, not detected. For some schemes, that's necessary to that the participant needs to evaluate a report and come to a written conclusion. So there are interpretative evaluations as well. Anna.
네, 그리고 LGC 액시오에서 중요한 인자인 메인 퍼포먼스 스코어입니다. 이것들은 전형적으로 숙련도 시험의 결과이며 이것들은 실행평가 점수를 환산한 값으로 나타내어집니다. LGC 액시오는 다음과 같은 퍼포먼스 스코어를 사용하고 있습니다. 정량 시험에 있어서는 G스코어 밸류를 이용하며 또는 G스코어 프라임 스코어 밸류를 이용하고 있습니다. 그리고 정성 시험에서는 함유하고 있는지, 그다음에 함유하지 않고 있는지, 또는 디텍션이 되는지, 디텍션이 되지 않는지 이 두 가지로 나누어서 퍼포먼스 스코어를 평가하고 있고, 또 인터프리테이티브 관련해서는 실제로 어떤 정해져 있는 특정 값이 아니라 숙련도에 참가한 참여자의 해석에 따라서 결과값을 제공하기도 합니다. Julian.
Thanks. The Z-score. The Z-score is the internationally most accepted performance score indicator for PT schemes. It's very simple. So the Z-score is calculated in this way. My result minus the assigned value divided by the standard deviation for proficiency assessment. You get a number out of there, which can be plus or minus, and it's evaluated in the following way. So everything between +2 and -2 is a satisfactory performance. Everything from +2 to +3 and -2 to -3 is called a questionable performance. Everything above +3 is, and everything below -3 is seen as an unsatisfactory performance. And then there's the Z prime score. The Z prime score only is different because it takes the square root. Give me a second. It takes the square root of the squared standard deviation for proficiency assessment and the squared standard uncertainty of the assigned value into consideration. It's interpreted in the same way as the Z-score, which makes it comparable over time. And it takes into account the standard uncertainty of the assigned value. And this has the Z prime score is used when the uncertainty is larger than expected. So if the uncertainty is small, then the Z prime score will be very, very similar to the Z score. So how to find and use the information provided in the PT reports at LGC Axio. So what you can see here is a screenshot of the start page that you will see once you have registered in the LGC Axio PT portal system. You have here the top menu bar with all the individual direct menus, and then you can see the most recent reports. This has been a screenshot from a very busy laboratory, as you can see, which also does a high diversity of different samples. And then you can see here on the right side what open rounds are there. If you want to see, for example, when the next deadline will be, you simply click down here onto the calendar, and the calendar will show you when the next deadline will be. And beautiful point is that if you go to the interactive report, and let's go back one step, and you click here on reports, then you can select between interactive report and the historic reports. And if you go to the interactive report, you can go to the direct online report. And this direct online report will show you how much results have you reported, how much satisfactory results, how much questionable, and how much unsatisfactory results you have had in this particular round. This is following the same color coding as the traffic light system. You also can download all reports we provide here in this interactive report section. The interactive report gives you some additional information, like a comparison of the individual analyzed performance, for example. And also, if you click onto Analyze, then you can see which reports have been, or which results have been reported. So analysts are listed here with the initials. Blue results show so-called nominated results. These are the official lab results. and you get a whole set of additional informations. Most important, green results means good results. There's a second option to get reports. And this is, if you click in the main menu here on reports and select historic reports, you will automatically get shown all the necessary reports. And what you can find here is there's a main report, there's an individual report, and there's an analyzed report, and we will provide more information on those. Hannah. Okay. So the PDF reports are available in each time, of course. Second. Okay. So these reports are available, or all the different reports are mainly available in a PDF format, so they can be easily taken with you to the next quality steering group meeting. So let's start with real laboratory examples. So this is an example from a clinical laboratory. And again, this is to highlight how to use the individual report, because the individual report gives you a lot of very detailed information just for your own lab. Why is this of importance? Because as you might be aware that you can report up to 13 results per analyte without extra cost. 3 results can be nominated, so they become the official lab result. Please note that each of these results must originate from a different method. But you can also additionally report up to 10 so-called individual results. So this can be individual results of staff members or testing devices. And so you can make individual trends analysis of staff members or whatever. And this allows participants to check several testing stations and methods in parallel without any additional cost. And these individual results can best be checked in the individual report. So the individual report is a report which is really unique for your own laboratory only. And it provides you a clear and a concise breakdown of your participating results. And most important, it shows you a result summary of all results, and it shows you satisfactory results. It notifies you in case of unsatisfactory and or questionable results. And the results tables showing you all your laboratory results and associated statistics from that particular round.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, you can start.
Yeah. 인디비주얼 레포트는 앞선 페이지에서 설명 주신 것처럼 13개의 추가적인 레포트를 13개 결과에 대해서 최대로 결과를 제공하고 있습니다. 한 랩에서 3개의 지정된 값을 포함한 총 13개의 인디비주얼 결과를 입력하실 수 있으며 추가 비용 없이 모두 결과를 확인하실 수 있습니다. 이 인디비주얼 레포트는 시험자들 각각 다른 13명, 최대 13명까지의 결과를 입력하여 비교하실 수 있으며 또는 각기 다른 장비에서 테스팅된 같은 샘플을 내부적으로 비교를 하실 수 있는 툴로 가장 유용하게 사용하실 수 있는 레포트입니다. 그래서 이 인디비주얼 레포트는 명확하고 신뢰도가 높은 결과들을 랩에서 참석하시는 모든 참가자에 대해서 확인하실 수 있는 용도로 사용하실 수 있습니다. Okay.
So this next slide shows you 2 examples of how an individual report can look like. So this is, for example, for Clostridium. This is a quantitative sample, and this is a qualitative samples. So presence, absence of Salmonella detecting, this is quantifying Clostridium perfringens. And it shows you multi-analyst reporting. So different people have reported for the same analyte here, and they can be identified by the shortcut, by these letters here. Most important, all green results, which means all have good results, good Z scores. And you can see additional information like unit, the result itself, the log10 transformed value, the assigned value. Then you have other information like the measurement uncertainty, the SDPA, which is used for the calculation of the Z score, and additional information in here. The same for here the Salmonella species qualitative values. So you can see again the individual staff members. You can see the methods codes used here, detected, not detected. So they have reported 2 nominated results originating from different methods. This is chromogenic agar. This, for example, can be PCR, for example. And the assigned value has been detected. So everything is green, everything is good. And which is important in here is the here are some statistical information like percentage of satisfactory results and percentage of unsatisfactory results. And you can see those were very low and those were very high, and high is always good. This is a report from a clinical laboratory, and you directly can see in this individual report that there is something wrong. This is a questionable result. A questionable result is not as such a direct point of concern, but you need to check carefully for the next rounds. And you also try to keep an eye on this analyte. What is a point of concern is, of course, an unsatisfactory result. Regulations clearly say unsatisfactory results must be directly checked up to ensure it's not a real problem. So if you have a bad result, what will be the next step? And good guidance on what will be the next step are given in this document published by Eurakim, which is from the group of auditors, or which is from the European communities on society of accreditation bodies. And this guides give you some hints on the selection, use, and interpretation of proficiency testing schemes. And in chapter 6.2, identifying measurement problems, it says, if a laboratory's result in a PT scheme indicates unsatisfactory performance, this should start a process of investigation of potential sources of errors. And then it says C, chapter 8.3, and H, chapter 8.3 is investigation of unsatisfactory or questionable PT results. Please note this guide is free of charge, and it's available openly in the internet at eurakim.org. This document gives you a clear handout, or really a guidance. It's really a guidance document. It gives you hints where to look, what steps you should proceed, what are the main causes that can cause a problem in a PT, and so on. So it's a very useful document. So following this document, we will go through some hints in the next examples that I would like to show you here. The next example will be about a food microbiology laboratory, and a food microbiology laboratory get back their individual report. And as you can see, red, like in the traffic light system, means always not good. So this lab, in fact, received 4 unsatisfactory results in its in a scheme or in a sample that is designed to quantify hygiene, bacterial hygiene indicators. So total aerobic mesophilic counts, coliforms, Enterobacteriaceae, and E. coli in one sample. This is D, this stands for dairy, so skim milk powder is the matrix. So the first point here, if you have such a bad result in the individual report, would to check the overall results for the round for all labs, and this can be found in the main report. The main report is a definite version of the reports supplied to all participating laboratories. It includes all nominated participants' results. It gives you all statistics for this round. It provides an overview with a Z-score histogram for each quantitative analyte and a method distribution graph to compare methods. And of course, all the statistics for each individual round. Hannah.
네, 앞선 페이지에서 설명처럼 이 메인 레포트는 실험실의 결과를 다른 랩과 비교하는 툴로서 사용을 하실 수가 있습니다. 그래서 그 라운드에 참가한 모든 결과를 확인하시면서 랩의 결과가 왜 unsatisfied 한 factory의 결과를 얻었는지를 확인하실 수 있는 메인 레포트는 확정판 버전이라고 생각해 주시면 됩니다. 참가한 모든 랩들의 결과를 포함하고 있습니다. 그래서 인디비주얼에서 노미네이트 되지 않은 결과를 포함하지 않고 모든 노미네이트 된 참가자들의 결과값을 포함하고 있으며 모든 라운드의 전체 통계학적인 결과를 포함하고 있습니다. 그리고 Z스코어의 히스토그램은 여러 가지 정당적인 분석에 대한 근거로 표시가 되고 있습니다. 또한 메소드 실험 방법에 관한 결과들도 그래프로 비교하실 수 있는 툴로서 제공되고 있으며 각각 라운드에 대해서 모든 통계학적인 결과들을 제공하고 있습니다.
Thanks.
Yeah.
So this is how a main report can look like. This is a very small one, as you can see, with only few results reported back. So this is normally it can take up to several pages, of course. So this is a table with the raw nominated data. So this is only showing the nominated data. It provides you information about the data statistics, how many results were reported back, are some results excluded, what is the minimum and maximum of value reported back. It gives you information about the performance statistics. So for example, you will find down here how many successful results were reported back. Then this is the Z-score histogram, and you can see here an outlier. And just for your information, I hope this is not my lab. I hope I'm a big fan of green. I don't like to see red. I think nobody does here. Then there's the method distribution graph, an overview about the individual methods reported summary. So you can see some statistics on the methods. And what I really would like to highlight is, please take a look. If you face trouble, take a look into technical comments, because sometimes you will find the information that might have caused this here in here. Okay, this is a very important point.
네, 중요한 부분 한 가지를 추가로 말씀 전달드리겠습니다. 저희 맨 아래에 그 레포트 상에서 여러 가지의 결과값들을 확인하실 수 있으며 그래프와 또는 통계학적인 수치로 다 확인하실 수 있는데 가장 중요한 거는 맨 아래 테크니컬 코멘트를 확인하시는 것을 추천드립니다. 특히 나의 결과값이 unsatisfactory에 들어갈 경우 어떤 부분에서 잘못된 시험 방법을 사용했는지 또는 잘못된 수치가 입력되었는지 또는 다른 랩과 비교해서 다른 평가 방법을 사용하였는지 이런 부분들에 대한 테크니컬 커멘트를 확인하시면 이 결과에 대한 분석을 좀 더 세부적으로 하실 수 있으실 것입니다. Thank you.
So coming back to our example, I now took a closer look into the main report for this customer who failed. As an example, I selected here Enterobacteriacea, the analyte Enterobacteriacea. And what you can see directly is there's one red and a lot of green. So this means there is not a general issue with the sample. It means there's an individual. It looks quite like an individual problem. So if I look into the quantitative statistics for this analyte round, so this is what I mentioned about quantitative statistics. You can see the number of satisfactory results, the number of questionable results, and the number of unsatisfactory results. And this is above 90%, which is very good. This is also something you would expect. If you see here is colony forming units per gram, it's nearly 9,000. This is can be expected that people can find these numbers properly. Questionable results are around 2% and 4% are here with unsatisfactory. So this is what you can expect. This is a good result. And this again shows I do not expect there's any problem with these results. The next question on my agenda would be, is there a problem with my method? So my method here is this one. So VRBGA, poor plate. Poor plate is abbreviated with PP and 30 degrees centigrade. You see there are only 5 results reported for this, but the results show good results. So again, this is me down here. So I can say, okay, the method works well, but there is a problem for me and only for me, not for others. So what will be the next steps here? So if you face such an issue, you should use ideally first the main report, because it can show you if there is a general problem or if it's only your problem. The next, according to the European guideline, the first thing is to check for simple errors first. And the majority of errors in PT results are coming from translational errors. Or have you, when you entered the result, simply forgotten a 0 at the end? Have the results been reported in the correct format? Because we as a PT provider, we must insist that you report your results in a certain format. Have we asked you to report a micromole per ml or in microgram per ml? Have we asked you to report in colony forming units per plate or in colony forming units per gram matrix? Are there dilution factors? Have there be a 1 to 10 dilution step? Have you forgot to add this 10 times dilution? Or have you simply mixed up the analyte when you report it? Have you mixed up coliform values with enterobacteria? So if those simple errors, if you have checked for the simple errors and you have not detected the error, you will of course need to investigate further. And the main report contains the technical comment section at the end of the analyte evaluation. And sometimes you can find additional information in there as well. So coming back again to my example. So you can see we do not have a specific problem with the sample. We have it looks pretty much like a specific problem with this lab. And the main trigger for my decision is they have all 4 results wrong. And this is quite unusual. It's very likely that there is a problem with the sample itself. And this might have originated from the sample preparation step. Maybe there went something wrong. So this can happen, for example, if the sample time, the scheme, is used for the first time, because there are new processes, there are new preparation steps needed, and so on. You should ask yourself, what's about the sample integrity? Was the delivery time okay? When the sample arrived in your lab, have you stored it at room temperature, or do you have it stored it in the freezer? Do you have additional QC materials which were used at that time? And does it indicate any issue with media quality at that time? And then this is something, for example, I would directly cancel, because you have your for the 4 analytes here, you have 4 different methods, and it's very unlikely that all 4 media are not suitable for this amount. So again, coming back to this, I guess there is something wrong with the initial preparation step. So also check if there have been recent changes in the sample preparation protocol for example, a new dilution step or a new analyte or whatever. If you receive an unsatisfactory result and you could not directly find a simple error, you should put performance into a wider context. And there are a number of factors that you can consider when you putting performance into a wider context. And this is, for example, in detail outlined in the European guidelines. I think I gave some examples. If you can find the source of the error and you can calculate a new result, you can use the performance score calculator in Portal to calculate your new Z-score. Hannah.
네, 앞서 설명 주신 것 같이 여러 가지 원인에 의해서 에러를 발견하셨거나 또는 만족하지 못하는 결과값을 얻은 것에 대한 원인을 발견하셨다면 저희가 실험이 끝난 후에 퍼포먼스 스코어 칼큘레이터라는 아래와 같은 아이콘을 포털 사이트에서 확인하시고 그 에러를 수정하고 또 다른 확인된 적당한 값을 다시 계산하실 수 있는 툴을 제공하고 있습니다. 따라서 새로운 Z-스코어를 확인하실 수 있고 그 수정된 결과값이 이전에 만족하지 못한 결과값에 비해 만족할 만한 값으로 얻어졌는지 그런 차이를 확인하실 수 있는 툴을 제공하고 있습니다. 다음 페이지에서 좀 더 상세하게 설명드리겠습니다. Julian, go to the next page.
Come on. Okay, the Z-score calculator can be found if you go on Submit Results in the top menu. Then you select your sample and your scheme. Then you can see if the round has been closed, and if you know the report has been issued. This is the main important take-home message: is the report has been issued. Where you've previously have seen the Submit Results report button is now a new button called Performance Score Calculator. And by clicking on that, you can enter the results, the Z-score calculator.
네, 다음과 같은 포털 화면에서 Submit Result 상단에 버튼을 클릭하시게 되면 라운드가 모두 끝난 상태에서 확인하실 수 있습니다. 이것은 결과값을 레포트를 받으신 이후에 다시 재계산하실 수 있도록, 재확인하실 수 있도록 제공되어지는 툴이기 때문에 화면에서 같이 잠근 아이콘이 잠겨져 있고 모든 라운드가 끝이 난 상태에서 오른쪽에 퍼포먼스 스코어 칼큘레이터라는 버튼이 활성화가 되며 선생님께서 얻으신 결과에 만족하지 못한 결과값을 얻으셨던 그 결과를 재계산하여서 새로운 값을 입력하여 그 값을 확인하실 수 있습니다. 단, 이 결과 값은 해당 웹사이트에서 프린트 버튼을 이용해서 프린트만 가능합니다. 왜냐하면 레포트 형식으로 다시 발행되지 않으며 다시 저장되지는 않습니다. 그래서 추후에 내가 왜 페일이 났는지, 왜 unsatisfactory한 값을 얻어졌는지, 그리고 다시 수정하여 그 결과값을 이전 데이터와 비교했을 때 만족할 만한 값을 얻어졌는지, 그래도 여전히 만족하지 못한 값을 얻으셨는지 확인하실 수 있는 툴로서 제공되는 것이기 때문입니다. Thank you.
So this is how the Z-score calculator looks like. Again, green, orange, and red, and satisfactory results are indicated here by the color coding down here. You select your scheme, the round, the analyte, the analyte itself. Sorry, so the sample analyte, and which is very, very important if you use this tool. Please, you need to select the method. Otherwise, this will stay gray. So once you have selected a method, you can enter the analyst name, select the unit and the result. And by clicking on this, this symbol down here, you can calculate your new Z-score. If you want to add another row, then you simply click on this copy down here. Then you can select for the other open analytes, and then you get your official Z-score. You should print this because this cannot be saved because it's a kind of unofficial result. But with this, you can show in case of an audit that you have done a corrective action or that you found the error. And if you print it, you can print it as a PDF, for example. then you can put it to your deviation report. Okay, we'll proceed then. The last example is for an environmental laboratory, and this is how you can use to identify issues with a certain analyte by using the so-called analyte report. In that case, the customer was told by his customer that they might have an issue because a certain contaminant is constantly underreported. So they have a bias in their result because they constantly report less than there should be. And the data provided by this customer showed that there is a potential issue. And in that case, we would recommend that you check directly for the analyte report first. What is the analyte report? The analyte report is a double page per analyte, and it includes all information you need to review your quantitative results in a single document. And this includes your results, data and performance statistics, your last 9 results, the Z-score histogram, performance trend charts, and a method summary. Hannah.
네, 다음으로는 마지막 레포트인 아날라이트 레포트를 통해서 확인하실 수 있는 결과들을 제공하고 있는 내용입니다. 그래서 각각의 분석 데이터에 대한 레포트는 아래와 같은 데이터를 포함하고 있으며 단일 문서로 제공이 됩니다. 그래서 그 실험하신 실험 결과값, 그리고 통계학적인 결과, 그리고 수치들, 그리고 지난 9번의 이전에 기록이 있으시다면 지난 9번의 결과들, 그리고 지스코어 히스토그램, 그러니까 이전에 실험하셨던 지스코어 밸류들에 대한 히스토그램도 같이 제공되고 있으며 퍼포먼스 트렌드 차트, 그러니까 이전에 실험하셨던 동일 항목에 대한 결과값을 트렌드 차트로 확인하실 수 있습니다. 또 그리고 이전에 실험하셨던 시험 방법에 관한 서머리도 포함되어 있습니다.
So this is how the analyte report looks like. You see, this is a very, a very comprehensive kind of document. So you have here the Z-score histograms. You have here your statistics of this current round, the last round method overview, your last 9 rounds. You have here a plot of your results over time and over concentration. Again, method-related details, some plots of results and methods, and technical comments. So this is how these, this is a very interesting, or from my perspective, this is a very helpful kind of plot. So you have here on the y-axis, you have the Z-score, so -4 to 4, and you see everything between +2 and -2 is color-coded green, which means good results. Satisfactory orange means questionable, red means bad. So, and here on the x-axis, you can see the round. So these are results over time. And this is also a very important point because this shows you your results, your Z-scores over concentration range, so minimum, maximum concentration range. And it could be that you have a result down here, but if this is outside your scope of calibration, then it doesn't matter, to be honest. There's another way to get this kind of overview, and this can be done by the trend analysis tool and portal. So if you are in portal, you click here on trend analysis, then you select the next menu point, and then you can select all the details again, sample, scheme, sample, analyte, and so on, and which rounds. And this gives you additional information and can show you, okay, for this analyte, for the past rounds, you see the majority of results have been good, but there have been some outliers. if you select for the past rounds available, and we have done so here for a customer from the air PT scheme, which is dealing with emissions and indoor air work safety testing. So this is what you can see here, and this is a plot of the results over time. And why is this of importance? Because this simply can show you the results are sometimes on the plus, sometimes on the minus side. They are always inside the good range, which is very important. And the point, the take-home message here is, if they would be always on one side, so always on the negative range or always on the positive range, then this would be an indication for you that there is something wrong because you have a bias. If it's just 5 times, it's not something you need to worry about. But if it's 9 times on the same side, this is in fact an action criteria. You have to directly take countermeasures to find out why you have such a bias. So the customer feedback for this laboratory that indicates that a certain contamination is constantly underreported, it can't be from the PT data we just have seen. So the PT data do not confirm the underreporting. So we need to check for other factors. In that case, for example, are the matrix effects? Are the PT samples matrix and the real matrix I'm working with every day, are they identical, or do they have a specific matrix effect I have not considered yet? The second point is the data provided by the customer who claims that you have wrong results. Have they been tested by a different test method or by the same method? This is of importance because LIMS systems, so laboratory information management systems, are more and more of importance in each laboratory. And we had a case in the US where after a software update for one analyte, a conversion factor was changed. And suddenly the whole lab group, and it was a group with more than 20 labs, suddenly they all reported by a fixed factor different to the original value. So this also can play a role. But of course, this makes things quite complicated sometimes. But this is also something you need to consider. And of course, there are other factors. And again, I would like to highlight or ask you to check the EURACHEM guidelines. Anna.
네, 이상 위의 설명을 토대로 그 아날라이트 레포트를 통해서 어떤 특정 아날라이트들이 어떤 문제가 있는지 또는 실험 결과에 이 이슈가 있는지를 어떻게 확인하는지에 대해서 설명을 주셨습니다. 그리고 실험실에서 특정 오염 또는 특정 방해 물질이 지속적으로 발견되는 경우를 레포트를 통해서도 찾으실 수 있는 툴로서도 사용하실 수 있습니다. 실제로 위의 레포트처럼 특정 트렌드가 포지티브한 결과값에만 치우쳐 있다거나 네거티브한 결과값에만 치우쳐 있을 경우 그 데이터들이 지스코어 밸류 안에 만족할 만한 값으로 들어가 있다 하더라도 실제 그 샘플에 가지는 어떤 밝혀지지 않은 영향을 미치는 그런 컨타미네이션 또는 팩터들을 확인하실 수 있습니다. 예를 들면 매트릭스 이펙트와 같이 실제 선생님께서 분석하시는 실제 샘플과 또 이 숙련도 테스트에 사용된 샘플이 차이가 있을 수 있기 때문에 그 부분이 고려되었는지 또 확인하셔서 아날라이트 레포트를 유심히 살펴봐 주시면 그 결과를 확인하실 수 있으실 것 같습니다. 또한 데이터들이 다른 시험 방법에 근거하였을 때 어떤 다른 시험법에 따라서 결과를 다르게 나타나는지 그래서 이런 것들도 그 트렌드를 확인하시면 시험 방법이 중간에 변화가 있었는지 또는 캘리브레이션을 하기 전이나 후에 대해서 확인하실 수도 있고 또는 새로운 장비가 도입됐고 이전에 장비가 사용이 중단된 상태에서 새로운 장비가 도입된 이후에 트렌드를 확인하셨을 때 장비가 변화된 차이로 인해서 결과값을 다르게 얻어진 추세를 확인하실 수도 있으십니다. 또한 최근에 림스와 같은 어떤 시험 매니지먼트 시스템들이 IT 시스템들이 많이 적용이 되고 있는데 이런 것들이 이런 소프트웨어들이 펌웨어 업데이트가 되거나 소프트웨어 업데이트가 됐을 경우에 이전에 변환되었던 결과값들이 새로운 값으로 재설정이 되어서 에러가 발생하거나 또 차이를 보일 수 있는 것들도 이런 지속적인 트렌드 결과값 또 아날라이트 레포트들을 통해서 확인을 하시고 또 참고하실 수 있는 툴로서 저희가 아날라이트 레포트를 제공하고 있습니다. 이런 부분들을 고려하셔서 실험 결과를 확인하실 때 도움이 되셨으면 좋겠습니다.
So it's now time for the final summary. So LGC Axio PD follows international recognized and accepted statistical protocols. And we provide a comprehensive range of reports that directly help you to get the data needed in case of a deviation, so it's questionable or as unsatisfactory results. The main report provides all nominated data, statistics, and technical comments. The individual report provides an overview of your own lab data and highlights potential issue, and always should be the first point you should look in. The Analyte report and the performance score report, which is a form of it, shows you longer-term trends. So the interactive online report permits you a fuller analysis of potential issues and allows you to create interactive trend charts. And all reports reference have their use in helping to identify quality issues in the laboratory and will assist the quality assurance team to keep and improve analytical data and quality in the lab. Thank you.
네, 서머리를 하자면 LGC Axio PT 프로그램은 글로벌로 인터내셔널하게 알려져 있고 또 수용되어지는 통계학적 프로토콜을 사용하고 따르고 있습니다. 또한 LGC Axio PT 프로그램들은 포괄적인 레포트와 직접적으로 데이터를 관리하시고 확인하시는데 사용되는 툴을 제공하고 있습니다. 이 결과도 questionable, satisfactory, unsatisfactory에 대한 결과값으로 확인하실 수 있으며 메인 레포트를 통해서 노미네이트 되어진 모든 결과값과 통계학적 데이터 그리고 테크니컬 코멘트를 활용하실 수 있으며 인디비주얼 레포트를 통해서 각각의 랩의 각각의 실험자 또는 실험 장비, 실험실에 대한 결과값을 확인하실 수 있으며 추가적으로 일어날 수 있는 여러 가지 문제들도 고려해 보실 수 있습니다. 또 아날라이트 데이터와 퍼포먼스 레포트를 통해서 지속적이고 눈에 띄게 한 번에 확인하실 수 있는 트렌드, 롱텀 트렌드들을 확인하실 수 있습니다. 이런 LGC Axio Proficiency Testing은 포털 온라인 레포트를 통해서 제공되어지며 또 트렌드 차트들을 통해 여러 가지 통계적인 데이터들을 확인하시고 레포트의 결과에 좀 더 나은 결과를 도출할 수 있는 방안으로 활용되실 수도 있으실 것입니다. 감사합니다.
네, 질문 있으시면 채팅창에 써주시면 저희가 답변하도록 하겠습니다.
So thank you. Are there questions? You can address questions via the question toolbox on the right side of the taskbar, menu bar, which can be seen hopefully here. So there must be something for questions, some in one of these boxes. So please feel free to address questions. If not, if you have questions, directly contact our partner in Korea. They will address those and will forward those questions to us, and we will help, of course.
네, 일단 질문 없으신 경우에는 혹시라도 나중에 생각나실 경우에는 오디랩을 통해서 질문 주시면 저희가 그 확인 후에 회신 드리도록 하겠습니다. 감사합니다.
Julian, we will check the follow question from the audience if they have, so we will update you. Thank you for the presentation.
Thank you very
You're more
much.
than welcome.